Well, I worked on two major issues which are very related. The first was on food safety and quality in Ghana. That is trying to see how we can spend some time thinking about and implementing activities to ensure that we have food safety, quality in Ghana. And the main reason is that it looks like we've not had any emphasis on it. Even our policies, plans, most of them don't mention food safety at all. However, food safety is so important because we produce food because we want to consume it to be well nourished and be healthy. Without the food being safe, you cannot be well nourished and you cannot be healthy. So food safety and quality is part and parcel of food and nutrition security. So it is very important that we stress it. Else we will not really be having any food and nutrition security. And that was the basis. And we went around the country soliciting information from different stakeholders, find out exactly what they think. And everybody agreed that it is a problem because there are so many things that cause food to be unsafe. Right from production, right from even the seed, through the food production to its consumption, there are a lot of problems with food safety. Right from production, you find out that because they cut, when you harvest, you put it on the ground, you are already contaminated with food. You carry it in trucks that are dirty, you are contaminating the food. You send them to the market in the same way, you are contaminating the food. You put the food on the ground, it's contaminated the food. If you think of livestock, and you think of slaughterhouses and abattoirs, you go there and they are so dirty. And that is a lot of contamination. People they carry animals that are sick to go and slaughter in the slaughterhouses. And definitely that gets to human beings. Those problems are so huge in Ghana. And therefore there's a need for us to do something about it. That is basically what we came up with that. And our recommendations are basically towards how we can galvanize government action to ensure that at every level we'll be able to make food safe and of good quality for people to eat. And one of the two, there are a number of organizations that are in charge of that. Two of them are very, very critical. That's the Food and Drugs Authority and also the PPRSD of MOFA. They are so critical because PPRSD is more on the agriculture side. Food and Drugs Authority is more on the manufactured goods and export commodities. Food and Drugs Authority, they seem to be working because somehow our emphasis as a country had been on these manufactured goods and imports and industry and all that. But on the production side, PPRSD don't have the resources to be able to do what they should do. And therefore, we are recommending that we look at that critically and see what to do about it. Also, we think that the Ministry of Agriculture, especially those in the district level, the district directors of agriculture, they have extension officers. Therefore, small kits for them to be able to test whether foods are safe is very possible. And they can do it either in the market or even in the farms to know whether they are actually, whether the food is safe. Those are things that can be done. Then the other aspect of the whole research was on the use of chemical in farming. And it came out, yes, chemical, we've been using it because we want to increase yields, we want to do so many other things and so on. But we realize that brings a lot of problems because synthetic chemicals actually poison. And therefore we poison many things. And the worst thing is that it even poisons the soil. It destroys microorganisms in the soil, even macroorganisms in the soil, and therefore we end up, even with fertilizers, it seems that we are destroying the soil, we are making soil acidic, and the soil can only be, the productivity can go on only for a short term. In the long term, the soil is destroyed. can we do something about it? Definitely we can. For Ghana to be always dependent on NPK, that's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizers across the country, doesn't make sense because the soils are different. So is it possible for us to be more innovative in the kinds of fertilizers that we use? The same way with the chemicals. There are so many chemicals that we can do without, and yet everybody is doing them. Farmers will spray vegetables today and harvest them in the evening, spray in the morning, harvest in the evening because they look green. People buy them because they are looking green and they're looking nice. Meanwhile, it's all chemical. Farmers themselves don't even eat those vegetables because they know that they are all chemical. And so they know that what they are selling to people, it's not good. But well, they are making money, and that's why they do it. And those are things that we can do a lot of sensitization, and if we resource PPRSD very well, they can be able to sensitize people through the ministry, through the Directorate of Agriculture, to be able to at least let people know that, let farmers know that what they are doing is not correct. In fact, they don't even, PPRSD don't even have the legal authority to sanction people who do the wrong thing, because the law establishing food safety rules doesn't give them that power to do it. So we're also asking for a robust legislation which takes everything about food safety into consideration, including agricultural production, all the way to processing to consumption, so that they can also have the legal authority to be able to sanction people who don't produce or who even contaminate foods by using things like Sudan dye, which they have been used on palm oil. They add it so that palm oil will look red, and we know that that's a killer. So there are so many things that are happening in the food safety area, which we believe that from the research that has come, definitely government will work on it. And that is basically, in a nutshell, that's exactly what we're talking about. And it's very good that research is stressing on what can be done by individuals, by government, by NGOs, and by everybody, farmers. So at the DARAP research that has been done actually stresses on what every individual and organizations within the whole system should be able to do to ensure that these problems are handled at their own levels. And I think that is a very, very good way of making sure that research will get to policy and will get to implementation, so that at least we can make a headway. One of the things that we think that is very important, generally, which came out, is our plans, our policies. Our policies don't go deep enough. And even when they do, or even when policies come out, there is a disconnect between our policies, our plans, and what government actually does. Partly because the politicians are not directly involved. We don't bring the politicians in to actually discuss these things and be buy-in to what we are saying. So DARAP should be able, and as they've already started, should be able to bring in politicians in every thing that we're doing. Today, for example, there were some politicians around in the meeting. That is a very good start, that they should be able to be aware of what is happening. And gradually, when there's a buy-in and they understand what is happening, because it is just that sometimes they don't even get the opportunity to hear what researchers are saying. So if you can have fora like this, where we all come in and be able to have a buy-in and understanding of what we are talking about, and in a language that everybody understands, then definitely they will also know that these things are important, because everybody definitely eats food, and food safety, everybody is worried about it. You are eating, you don't know what exactly you are eating. So definitely they have a stake in it, but they don't know. And that is one of the areas. The same thing with even policy makers. Yes, there are policy makers at the national level, at the district level, at even the regional level, but they don't have the opportunity to even discuss these things. So one of the things that should be done is probably during the MMDDAs, the district chief executives, when they have their meetings, we can ask for permission to at least explain some of these things at their own meetings. And when they begin to understand these things, they are always ready to do something about it. Because during the research, every time we went to the district level and we engaged the district chief executives and those in the districts, and we explained these things, they are always very happy about it. But then that is just 1 or 2 or 3. If all of them can have that information, definitely something can be done. For example, one of the things that we virtually agreed across almost all the districts is that for the chemical use, we should have a movement. Everybody agrees that this is a problem, and that movement should be in virtually all the districts. And if anybody comes to talk about food security, food and nutrition security, we say, look, one of the key things that you should also be adding is food safety. Because without food safety, you cannot have a food and nutrition security. And if that movement is strong, and any politicians who comes around will say, look, this is an area we've been leaving out, make sure that there is something in it at the policy level. I'm sure that we can go very far. So those are the kinds of things that I believe DARAP has done and continue. If we continue to do it, definitely research will move to policy and will move into implementation and will make good progress.